aka good morning. So it's the next day. I do plan on actually working on this guy today. I do have a couple of things going on. I have a wedding that I have to be at 4, so I gotta leave by 3, so I gotta get ready by 2. Okay. It's only 8:50 now. And I did see I got an email from the library that my library book hold was in. So I'm gonna walk over there and pick that up, so that they don't, because after a couple of days they put it back into circulation. So I'm gonna go grab that, so that I have it, and then I'm gonna make some coffee, and then I'm going to do another painting session. And yeah, I think I can be a good 85% of the way done with this painting by the end of today's painting session. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna go make coffee and go to the library, and I'll be right back. Alright, currently I have my hair up in like a handkerchief so that it's like holding curls, so I kind of look like George Washington right now. So I had originally planned to work out the background and figure that out, but I really think I need to work on the figure more because I haven't done anything besides her skirt since I first painted it years ago. Obviously this hand is nothing. And her shoulders, I'm always a little bit scared to go in and fix something and refine it because I always love the way that the sketch looks and feels. I feel the light and the form really came together very well, and rematching skin tones and everything. I'm gonna be mixing new colors, not what I have on my palette currently. But also I should be incorporating some of the colors from this palette. Ooh, is obviously still a little wet and I just touched it. Yeah, but I really think I need to work on her more because obviously she's very warm right now, which I like in some ways, but I think I need to work it out. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is, sorry if there's movement, I'm sitting on a stool and it's a little squeaky. But first thing that I'm gonna do is not worry about mixing colors. I'm just gonna work in Venetian red, and I'm just going to work on the outline of her hand. And I'm zooming in on my reference photo so that I can really focus on what the actual shape of the hand is. Because clearly, when I was first painting this, I was just let's just get some colors down and finish this thing. So I'm realizing now that this may not be the best angle for you to see me working on this. I'm going to move you. Wow, that looks like nothing. Here we go. So I'm noticing, I think I foreshortened this arm just a little bit too much because the wrist is way too narrow. No, wait. Sometimes when you're actually looking at it, you're like, well, that's way... And then it's literally the width of one paintbrush line. But it makes a big difference. Again, the camera angle is not totally the best because now you're viewing it from an angle and not straight on. But guess where my head is? That's right, straight on. Okay. Yep. So, still learning the best way to film these, and also like kind of the best like content. Like I wanna add value to the internet. I wanna add value to my viewers. I don't know, time. You're spending your time with me. So I don't want to waste your time. I know I waste a lot of time on YouTube, so maybe that's just what YouTube is. But I also just don't totally know what to talk about. I can be like, if I get started on something, I kind of can be one of those like, don't get me started kind of folk. But also sometimes I'm just like, I would rather sit in silence or listen to music. Okay, you tell me if this is something that you have also experienced. So I know that I'm not the only one, so I'm not gonna be like, I'm so quirky, I'm like the only person who this happens to. But because I know for a fact that I've seen other videos of other people who describe the same thing, but I am one of those people who like will start humming because there's always background music going in my head, or like static or something. And it's not necessarily good background music. Most of the time it's just like somebody said a sentence or a word that reminded me of a song, and now that song is stuck in my head, or it's just like the last thing I heard, or it's just a song that like my brain wants to hear, and the song doesn't go away until I hear it. But yeah, one of my friends gets really annoyed with me because I'll start humming and I don't realize it. And she's like, oh my god, stop. Because like she's deaf, like she has to wear hearing aids. So like I think I'm adding to like the feedback of her life, which I am not trying to do. I'm not trying to make your life difficult. It just comes out and I don't realize it. And if I'm not hearing music, I will provide it. My dad and my uncle like to tell me that when I was a baby, I would like sing and hum. I'm sure it wasn't good. It was just like baby noises, but they like to say that's what it was. And this is not me trying to be like, therefore thusly I'm a good singer. You can hear my voice. This is basically what I sound like when I sing, just with the notes going up and down. Alright, my brother just called me. We need to go on an emergency clothing run and find him a good shirt to wear to the wedding. So hopefully I'll be back in time to do a little more work on this, because I would really like to get to that 85% mark, or at least 75 if I can. So hopefully I'll be back soon. Alright, so I just got back from the store, and well, not just, I got back from the store and then I made some lunch, because I know that at weddings, you know, dinner time isn't going to be until like 8 or something, and I don't want to be starving all day or it just won't be any fun. So I am now getting back into painting, but I only have about 40 minutes before I need to get ready to go. So I guess I won't be hitting that 85 or 75%, which is fine. I think I have a good outline of the hand now. I have some little fingers in here and the side of the hand. I think I need one more knuckle right here. Kind of looks like it's like peeking out behind this finger. So I'm gonna start pouring out some paints. I have been really enjoying using this India Yellow. India Yellow is a pretty transparent paint, but I really like the, like, I don't know, there's a really interesting variety of like really warm and then very light tones to it. I don't know why, but sometimes my grip is actually stronger in my left hand, so I can like twist off caps better if I use my left hand. Not sure what that's about. This is a little Hansa Yellow Light. It's just a very light. I was using cadmium yellow before, and I think it's too... Okay, pungent is the first word that came to my mind, if that makes sense. Cadmium is this color back here. It's that really... It's the yellow I was using in the last painting session. I need some yellow ochre for sure for skin. And the burnt umber. I see burnt umber as a cool brown. It's very dark and like thick. So like India Yellow is a pretty thin feeling paint, and burnt umber is a very thick feeling paint. Like I use a little bit more medium to kind of get that to move around. So now let's see, what brush am I gonna use? I feel like I want to use a filbert today, which is these brushes with like the kind of rounded end. Mine is a little stiff. I did not do a great job cleaning, so we'll see if I switch this out, but I kind of like the effect that these can give. They're great at blending, but they're also great at, I just realized I need white. But they're also great at leaving behind nice fluffy textures. So I just took a little bit of white. I did put the white back in the stack where like all my blues were, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay if there's blue tints in the skin, obviously, because it's a night scene and I'm trying to make this a cohesive piece. Alright, so if I'm working on this hand, definitely need a little Venetian red. A little alizarin crimson. I don't know what to tell you about like how to mix skin tones. I just keep taking colors until it works. Sometimes I get a little bit stressed out about like going back and like trying to color match something, and I'm like, oh no, I don't remember what colors I used, and man, again, color theory is weird. It's like it almost doesn't matter what you used the first time. You can kind of make the same color again with like any other colors. I don't know how to explain it, but like sometimes I have, like I knew that I used something different, like I didn't have the color anymore, like it ran out and they didn't have it at the store or whatever. And like I knew I was not using the same color, and I still got a really good match from completely different colors. I don't know how it works. So I do kind of go up and hold it up to my reference photo and up to my painting just to see like where I'm at. I know I'm not close, but I want to see like in what direction I need to push it. Like, does it need to be more red? Does it need to be more brown? Does it need to be more blue? Yes, skin tones can be blue, skin tones can be green. That was a lot of red that I just added. A lot. But that's okay. I have not mixed skin tones in a while, so let's throw in some brown. And I definitely need to lighten it up at this point. It's very much not the same as the reference picture, but I am okay with that as long as it looks right in the painting. But you can kind of see the India yellow is disappearing a little bit, but it's still shifting the hue. Should I be mixing with a palette knife? Yeah. I have a lot of palette knives, but sometimes I just don't feel it, you know? I think we need some more yellow ochre. Yeah. I'm gonna try just the touchiest touch of ultramarine blue. I'm dabbing it off so it's not too much. More white. Okay, I think I'm ready to go in and start adding colors. Here we go. I'm not gonna go crazy, like trying to make the hand super photorealistic. I do need a smaller filbert though. And guess what? I am adding turquoise to the skin. Yes, I am. Let's get some of that skin color to mix into the turquoise. You're crazy, what are you doing? Alright, because there is like a light on the front of her hand and the side of her arm here that I like. I mean, clearly I already started it the first time, so it's not crazy. It's not even the craziest thing I've done in this painting. It's not the craziest thing I've done in any painting. This painting is so tame. I threw in a little bit of ultramarine blue into the color. We'll see if it needs to get, it's probably going to need to get a little lighter and a little bit more purpley. Okay, you convinced me. I'm adding magenta. I saw a painting by Jimena Agra recently. She just did like a lot of tiny paintings, and one of them was like a hand, and I love it. And I should probably pull up a reference photo of it because I would like to emulate it a little bit, but alas, I am too lazy and low on time. I want that to be a little bit of a cooler tone. Something I did note about the hand that I liked was that the fingers were very pink and the hand was very pale. I can't fully do that in this painting, or I'm not going to. I don't know, maybe I could, but I'm not going to do fully that. But and the other thing I really liked was like how soft it was. The edges of the fingers and hand were like very, very brushy, very dreamy. Alright, in my reference photo, I kind of added like a little bit of a pink, not fully a rim light, but like kind of. And I want to see how that looks in the painting. So I'm using a little bit of white and magenta. And use a little more magenta. Like, I don't know if that makes sense logically to put magenta on that side of the hand, the way that the light is working. But I want to see what happens when I try it. Yeah, this hand is really claw-ish. Oh, you know what else? I'm gonna put in the fingernail. Sometimes putting in the fingernail kind of helps make it a little less. That did not do much good. That's okay. Hands are just like, everybody knows that drawing and painting hands is complicated, but why is it complicated? Because it's a cylinder with a bunch of cylinders coming off of it, and each cylinder then has a round end, and there's like, there's a lot going on, so each edge has to turn in, and the light is hitting it from different sides. There's just a lot going on. I think I need an even smaller brush. I might regret it, but you know, always start big. Start with a big brush so you don't get too bogged down with the details. And then work your way down to the little brush when you really can't use the big brush anymore. I'm trying to be, what's the word? Trying to have self-control in that aspect. Like, really wait until I really need the little one. Whoa! And I dropped my paintbrush again. I think for the sake of my renter's deposit, I should put a canvas down below the easel. I think that would probably be an intelligent move. But right now I'm going with the lazy time crunched move. Alright, I really need to separate the thumb from the fingers. Yikers, this is a scary, scary hand. Remember, every piece of art goes through an ugly phase. Just like you when you were a kid, growing up. It's tough. You just gotta get through it. is a bit of a shadow. Here, below the thumb knuckle. There's a wrinkle here between the thumb and the rest of the hand. I've got about 20 minutes left before I need to get ready. I need light on this side. I need more of a peach up here. And you know what? I think I want cadmium red. It's a warmer scarlety red. It's very, very strong. So I might have to, I'm just gonna try and go easy on it. This is, here I'll grab a little paintbrush full. This is the color. So it's a very warm scarlet tone. And the finger is starting to flatten out, so I need to bring more roundness. I need to bring more darkness to the edge of it. So I'm going to do that. It's weird. Burnt umber is a really dark, thick color, but it's like, in my experience, it's not terribly strong. Like it looks really dark out of the tube, but then like when you use it, for me it kind of disappears. It's almost like it's good for desaturating a color, and that's about it. It's not great for adding like actual dark contrast, so I am actually going in with some phthalo green to add that contrast, because it's the complementary color of what I'm working with in the skin. And I'm bringing in a little bit of India yellow. Taking a little sit back so I can see what's happening. Alright. Now I'm going to add back the burnt umber. So that it's still a brown. But it's okay if it looks green, I like that. I think it's fun. Alright, I'm gonna move away from, drop my paintbrush again. Alright, I'm gonna move away from the thumb because I don't want to overwork it. I'm gonna move into the pointer finger. Start to try and bring some shape into that. So again, I gotta think of this as like its own little cylinder. So the front of the finger needs its own kind of light, and then the sides of the cylinder are turning away, so they need to be dark. And on a cylinder, there's always one side of the cylinder that is darker than the other. So you kind of have to see where that is. Also with this finger, I want it to move into that turquoisey shade. So I'm going to start bringing that down. And there's like kind of a fine balance. I don't want this hand to be so messed around with that it like stands out more than like the rest of the figure. So I need to figure out, ran out of SD space, so I had to really quick empty out the card, and now I have 5 minutes till I need to get ready. So I'm just gonna very quickly try to get this to a point where the hand isn't bothering me too much so that it's all I'm thinking about all night. I'm gonna go in again with a little bit of green to add in these little, you know, the little wrinkles between your thumb and fingers. And there's also like there's a space back here. I'm gonna fill that with some phthalo blue. That's a little too intense. Gonna go back in with a little bit of turquoise to kind of help ease that up. Phthalo blue is so strong, darn it. And you know what? I'm going to use this color that's on my brush, which is really strong phthalo blue and turquoise, to add in the shadow between the fingers back here. Because that's actually, I like the look of that. That's working kind of well. This is why I like oil paint. It stays, like it doesn't dry very fast at all, obviously. I'm a really slow worker, and I really like that I have the ability to blend layers together for so long. Obviously, by the time I come back to this, well, maybe not obvious to you. So, I don't think I'll be able to paint tomorrow, and then for the next 3 days, I will be out of town. And while I'm out of town, I will work on editing this video. But yeah, so I'll be out of town, so I won't be able to paint for a few days. That's okay. Yeah, but anyway, by the time I come back to this, probably, it's going to be dried out. So I won't be able to do what I'm doing now with the colors, blending them in the same way anyway. Bring that turquoise back down a little bit. His hand is starting to get a little too sharp, but I think because I have such a hard time with painting hands, I need to start out sharp and then I can soften it up later. If I need to, if I want to, if I can. Adding a little bit of cadmium red to add a little bit of life back into the finger, because, you know, you add blue to a finger and it's gonna look a little gray and dead. And I'm gonna use some Venetian red to add just like the tip of a fingernail here. Like when you're looking at the painting, you might not realize that's what it is, but I think just having like the impression of that shape is going to help a little bit, because your fingers are looking. This finger needs to go back. Right now it's just coming straight down and straight in, and it needs to come down and in that way. So I need to figure out how to do that with both the shape of it and the colors. I like the look of cadmium red in the skin because it's it kind of looks like those translucent parts, like when the light shines through an ear and it's that bright orange red color, or when the light shines through, for instance, a hand. I love that effect, and I think cadmium red does a really good job of doing that. I'm leaning back just to get a good look at what's happening with the hand. I need to soften up that edge a little more. And I need a little more separation between these two, so I'm adding another green shadow to the pink finger. And I'm going to make the pink a little bit lighter, just to see what happens. And why? Just threw it again. I am outstanding. Alright, I'm a couple of minutes over, but that's okay. It doesn't take long to get dressed. I'm just gonna really quick go in and soften this up, because I think I see too many separate lines. Brush strokes are fine, but like when it turns into these thin lines, I don't want them. They're too distracting. Alright, I'm gonna add a little bit of Hansa yellow over here because I want to. Wow, I think that came together. Did it? Alright, white and ultramarine, more white. Wow. Okay. White and ultramarine. I'm just going to take straight white because that blue is just not happening. Huh. See, once you get going, you can't stop. I gotta go. But it's really getting there, so I really wanna get it there. I need more light in the middle of the cylinder of the arm. To make the cylinder look round, so the front is coming forward. But then also this part needs to recede, go back I'm just kind of scrubbing in a little bit of burnt umber. A little tiny bit of the alizarin crimson. More burnt umber. And ultramarine blue. Whoa, that's a lot. But again, I want this side to curve back. And I want this to bend back. I want this to start coming forward. Maybe if I put a little bit of bright cadmium here, I kind of like that. Man, once you get me going, try to stop me. God, I need to stop. Okay, I'm adding a little bit of red over here just to bring the blue kind of back a little bit. I like that stroke. I'm just adding little highlights, and because I'm working in oil and the paint is still wet, I'm literally adding bright white, like straight titanium white, which I wouldn't normally recommend, but because my paint is wet, it's kind of blending with the other colors, so it's turning into a warm white. I think I need to stop. Well, I know I need to stop time-wise, but also just so I don't overwork it right now. Okay, that is it for today and yesterday's painting session. I added in some flowers and ripples and fixed the hand up. I am happy with what I've done so far, even though I didn't get as far as I wanted to. But I do need to go get ready. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Do remember to double check that you are not subscribed so that you do not get notified about any of these videos. It would be really embarrassing if you saw any of these, so please unsubscribe. Make sure to give it a thumbs down because I don't want other people to find this video, and give me a hateful comment because it really lifts my spirit. I would like to read aloud a hateful comment that I couldn't stop thinking about this week. From Hypercolor, I cannot even begin to tell you how precisely my jam this is. I don't know how the algorithm landed me here, but I am delighted it did. I'm working on a cross-stitch project that's going to be a present for someone and needed some company while I work. I am unfortunately not an artist, but I'm still fascinated by the way you talk about what you're doing and why, because it makes perfect sense when you explain something, and yet my brain would not have seen it that way on its own. Thanks for the chill hang. I'd love to see more of these long ones, but in the meantime, this will definitely be on repeat for a while. P.S. You've got Bob Ross vibes. Oh, I literally almost cried when I read that. Thank you so much. It's a long comment, but it's a long video, so thanks for sticking around. And again, hateful comments all around. I love them. Goodbye.